It had
Wow.
80,000 students in the UAE on the platform. It had 1,200 partner brands in the UAE on the platform, including some of the biggest names in the UAE.
You were featured on Forbes 30 under 30.
5,000 to $10,000 thereabouts in terms of scholarship. And we work with 240 universities all over the US. Mike Tyson once very famously said, everybody's got a plan until you're punched in the face.
When everything is falling apart and like you're given your best but nothing is working, so at those times, what is that one thing that keeps you going?
And I remember in 2018, we were like 3 months away from bankruptcy. Middle class or lesser privileged backgrounds. And universities actually want students like that. They want students who are hardworking, ambitious, aspirational. It helps give them a more diverse campus, a more diverse student body. We got her a 100% scholarship on her first year, and then a 50% scholarship on her next 3 years to go and study. Now that's amazing. That's kind of how we generate revenue.
What hacks or tips would you give from your side, from your 7 years of amazing experience?
MS Dhoni didn't go to the NCA in Bangalore or whatever. He just had the willingness to succeed, that drive to succeed. And that's what made MS Dhoni MS Dhoni. And that's what made Dhirubhai Ambani. And that's what made Ray Kroc. I think the core differentiator between an entrepreneur or a founder and anybody else is
this man can change lives.
Mike Tyson once very famously said, everybody's got a plan until you're punched in the face.
Have you ever dreamt about studying abroad but on an excellent scholarship? Hi, and welcome to Convo with Aysh. This is a one-of-a-kind episode because today we have with us Craig Fernandes. He is the co-founder and CEO of Secure My Scholarship, and he was also featured in Forbes 30 under 30 list at the Forbes Middle East Summit in El Ghona, Egypt. He has dispersed scholarships worth $8 million and counting, and have impacted thousands of lives. And if you want to be one of them, do check out the description and connect with him. This podcast is also about the essence of entrepreneurship. So if you are a rising entrepreneur or trying to scale up your business, then you have to watch this podcast till the very end, because the nuggets, the insights, the mindset, the character strength that this person commands and shows is beyond expectations. It's tremendous, and it is going to change your entire perception about the concept of entrepreneurship and serving the world as a whole. His first startup, Lock and Stock, was named Disruption of the Year at Gulf Capital Awards in 2020. He has also won accolades like Future Star Award winner at Arabian Business Awards in 2019 and Young CEO of the Year at CEO Excellence Awards in 2021, amongst many others. And he is on this noble mission to connect students with $100 million in scholarship at universities. He has literally changed thousands of lives and continue to do so. And the best part, this is completely free for the students. You can actually get connected with Secure My Scholarship, and they take care of a lot of things that is truly a headache, especially for the lower middle class and middle class people. So if you're dreaming of doing a course abroad and maybe are stepping back because of your finances, this might be the solution for you. And to all the entrepreneurs out there, if you're stuck at any level in your business, this podcast is definitely for you. You're going to get so many insights and nuggets through the course of this podcast. And not just the technical stuff, but also the mindset that you need to carry to become a successful entrepreneur. So without any further delay, let's begin. But do not forget to subscribe to the channel and share your learnings and takeaways and opinions in the comment section. I will be waiting to read them, and if you have any query, do comment them as well, and we will get them answered. Now let's learn and evolve together. Hi, Craig. Welcome to Convo with Aysh. And thank you so much for doing this. It's a privilege to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me, Ayushi, and thanks to everybody who tuned in to listen. Thank you so much for having me here.
Perfect. So, we have a lot of questions about a lot of things. You say you're an open book, but I don't agree yet. So, let's see if that can change. But before beginning into the technical part or any stuff, I really want to know your real story. Like, how did you actually get here? So, let's start from the very beginning. How did you come here from there?
Awesome. So I was born and raised in Dubai. My parents moved to Dubai in the early 90s. They both grew up in Bombay and they moved to Dubai for work, like most other people at that time, I think. They moved to Dubai in the early 90s. I was born in Dubai. But my experience in Dubai is very different from the traditional thoughts or stereotype of like growing up in Dubai. When people think Dubai, especially around the world, they think the Dubai Mall or the Burj Khalifa or like Lamborghinis and Porsches and Palm Jumeirah and on all of that stuff. I actually grew up on the outskirts of Dubai in this small, tiny apartment. Cost us about 6,000 dirhams a year, which is about 120,000 rupees a year, about $1,500 a year. And that's low in India. So you can only imagine how low that is here in the UAE, here in Dubai. And that's kind of how I came up. I lived there for half my life, actually. We lived there until 2009. I was 13 when we finally moved out. And we moved to a nicer place, better apartment, yada, yada. But that's kind of how I came up. And growing up, I think just from my circumstance and from my surroundings and whatever, I knew that if I didn't work hard in life, nothing was going to be given to me on a silver platter. Like there was nothing to give. So I had to work hard. And that's exactly what I did. I graduated school, top of my class, straight A student. I was on the cricket team, football team, bunch of other sports teams. I was in a bunch of extracurriculars. I launched my first company when I was 14 years old, and just did whatever I could in like high school and whatever before college, like in like my later half of my school years, to build up just as much experience or get involved in as many things and to prep as good a college application as possible. And then I applied. My objective was always to go to America to study. I wanted to study in the US. I told my parents that. My parents said, that's too expensive. We can't afford it. But I mean, that was my dream. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to go to America. So I said, you know what, like I'm going to try anyway. I applied to 11 different universities all over the US, got 9 admits, 9 offer letters, 9 acceptances, whatever. And I actually got very lucky in that there was a university that got back. They weren't the highest ranked university that I had applied to, but they were a good option and they got back and they said, listen, you seem like an incredible student. We want you to come and study over here. And I got a 55% scholarship to go and study in the US. And that was awesome. Between that and some of my parents' savings, and then I also worked while I was in the US and whatever, saved money from there. But putting it all together, it made it feasible for me to actually go. And that's how I ended up in the United States. Studied there for 4 years, 2013 to 2017. When I graduated in 2017, 3.9 GPA, major in economics and minors in political science, international relations, mass communication, and business administration. So 4 minors along with a major, 3.9 GPA. And yeah, that was university. I actually got the idea for my first startup when I was in university. I had launched a number of other small companies before that. As I mentioned earlier, I launched my first company when I was 14, second company when I was 17, third company when I was 18, but these were smaller ventures, kind of like hobbies or side businesses or side hustles or whatever. I got the idea for my first real startup when I was in university, and it was in my last year of university, and that kind of dominated my entire last year, where during class, I'm kind of like making sketches for how the application can look. And in my evenings or in my spare time, I'd be on calls with developers in India or whatever, trying to like put things together. And graduated from university in May of 2017. Came back to Dubai in June. We incorporated the startup in Dubai in June itself, 2017, 1 month after graduating. And in September, so 4 months later, we went live, September 24th, 2017. We went live, and 7 years later, and one pivot later, and a lot of other things later, here we are.
Wow. When was the last time you slept? It seems like you have been constantly doing one thing after the other.
I don't know, honestly. If you ask people who know me, and the people closest to me especially, they will tell you that I'm a workaholic. I'm always working 24/7. I actually genuinely think that if you do what you love and you're working on something that you care about and you're actually passionate about, it doesn't feel like work and you want to do it. And that's kind of what we do. I love what we did with Lock and Stock before. That was the first startup. And then we pivoted that into Secure My Scholarship. And I love what we're doing with Secure My Scholarship. So I'm always working 365 days of the year, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Maybe a couple of hours, 3-4 hours of sleep here and there in the night, but I wake up, I get to work, I skip lunch most days. I'm usually working till 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. most days. And yeah, that's that.
Wow. If driven was a statue, it would be you.
Thank you.
Okay. So now we'll get to the technicalities of all your startups, the timeline, how they happened, what they did, what they do. But before we dive into that, I want to know, what is your idea or definition of entrepreneurship as a whole?
Entrepreneurship is about building solutions to people's problems, I think. Now, whether that is an easier way to assemble a table or a faster way to run computers or connecting students with scholarships to help them afford university, entrepreneurship in general is building solutions to people's problems and being able to take risks to make that happen. I think that's just a great way to summarize entrepreneurship. It's the reason why when universities and colleges offer classes to teach entrepreneurship or fundamentals of entrepreneurship and this and that, I think the core differentiator between an entrepreneur or a founder and anybody else is the willingness to take risks and actually put themselves out there, the willingness to fail. And I don't think you can teach that. I think that's intrinsic. Everything else you can teach, finance, marketing, sales, all of that stuff you can teach, recruitment or whatever. But the key defining characteristic, I think, is being able to take risks. And if you can't take risks, you're not an entrepreneur, and no one can teach you that. Right? So, I don't know.
True.
That's what I think.
So what is a set of mindset, like maybe some characteristics or a particular type of mindset that you think a founder or an entrepreneur should possess to take things forward?
For this one, actually, so I read Ray Kroc's autobiography a long time back. Ray Kroc was the founder of McDonald's, built McDonald's from a single location in California or single location in Illinois, to this behemoth that we have today that literally touches 2% of the world's population on a daily basis. And in his autobiography, Ray Kroc actually took a stab at this question that you just asked. And Ray Kroc said, what defines a successful person, right? Entrepreneur or politician or sports person, athlete, whatever it may be. What defines a successful person? Is it God-given talent? No. The world is full of people who are blessed with ability but cannot actually do anything with that. And honestly, if you ask me, everybody is talented at something, right? So is it God-given talent? No. Not quite, at least. It helps, but not quite. Is it a world-class education? No, the world is full
Definitely.
of educated fools, literally. So, no, it's not a world-class education. I think the story of Narendra Modi speaks to that as well. It's just drive. So no, it's not God-given talent, and it's not a world-class education. So what defines successful people, and what separates successful people from everybody else, right? What separates Virat Kohli from all of the other thousands, tens of thousands of other cricketers in India. And yeah, it's maybe not Mukesh Ambani because he inherited whatever the company, but his father, Dhirubhai Ambani, from all of the other aspiring entrepreneurs at that time. Right? What separates successful people from everybody else? And Ray Kroc's hypothesis, and one that I actually live my life by as well, what I think everybody should live their life by, is Ray Kroc said the key difference between a successful person and an unsuccessful person or another person is willpower. Right? There is no substitute in this world for sheer perseverance, sheer dedication, hard work, and willingness to succeed. And that, more than anything else, separates the successful from the unsuccessful. And that's what I think is the difference between entrepreneurs or good entrepreneurs, great entrepreneurs, and also rans or entrepreneurs and other people. It's just the willingness, that drive to actually do it. There's a saying, I mean, great ideas are cheap, execution is expensive. Can you actually put up with all of the chaos, all of the rubbish, all of the madness that life throws your way, and actually find a way to succeed? In those examples that I mentioned earlier, Narendra Modi, used to sell chai. MS Dhoni was a ticket collector in Ranchi. Dhirubhai Ambani drove a cab in Oman. Like that, those were their circumstances, and they did not have the best education. They didn't go to Harvard or anything like that. MS Dhoni didn't go to the NCA in Bangalore or whatever. He just had the willingness to succeed, that drive to succeed. And that's what made MS Dhoni, MS Dhoni. And that's what made Dhirubhai Ambani, Dhirubhai Ambani. And that's what made Ray Kroc, Ray Kroc.
Perfect. That was damn inspiring, actually. Thank you. Okay. So what was football on wheels? I read that on your LinkedIn profile and I was intrigued.
Football on wheels. Yeah, I mean, it was a super fun kind of side project that we had. Myself and my flatmate, we basically had this idea. In America, college sports is a huge phenomenon. For people who haven't gone to university in America, they probably can't even wrap their heads around it. It's massive. My college, the university that I went to, they used to play their college games in stadiums bigger than the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai, which is where India plays, where India won the World Cup. Our college stadium was twice as big as the Wankhede Stadium, 70,000 capacity. As a college team, our basketball stadium was 30,000 capacity. These are, when I say college sports, but these are billion-dollar institutions. Like our university generated $1 billion in revenue. That's as much as the BCCI generates from just college sports, college football, college basketball, whatever. In America, it's on another scale, and it's something that people outside of America don't quite understand. But in America, it's a big thing. And at university, what would happen was that, like any college or like any sports teams, you have games that are home and away. So when we were the Iowa Hawkeyes, and when we were playing at home, that's great, everybody can go and watch, no problem. But when we're away, it was difficult for people to go to away football games or away basketball games, and everybody went to these games at home, and a lot of these people wanted to go for the games away at other universities or other places, and the drive would be 7 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, 15 hours, or whatever, right? It's a long way away. America's a big country. So what we used to do actually was we launched this thing called Football on Wheels, and when people signed up with us, we would get them, like, we would basically bus people to cities where the away football games were. We'd put them up for the night, we'd get them tickets to the game the next day, and then we'd bring them back. And that's kind of what Football on Wheels was. And this was kind of like a travel service. We wanted to watch these games anyway. We wanted to make money while doing it. We wanted to help other people go and also watch these games. And that's kind of what we did. We didn't make too much money. I think we made about $2,000 or $3,000 or something along those lines from Football on Wheels. But it was a lot of fun. We loved it. We learned a lot from an operational perspective as well. And yeah, it wasn't very scalable or anything. It wasn't going to go anywhere. I think the main driver of us launching Football on Wheels was, I mean, we ourselves wanted to go to these games. So we just figured that there were other students who were like us, and turns out there were, and we took them there and they watched the games and we came back.
Perfect. You've always been a problem solver, I guess.
Yeah, you could say that. I think since from a very early age, I love finding solutions to problems and then figuring out how to monetize that, whether it's small, big, whatever, like doesn't matter. But yeah, since I was small, and usually oftentimes there are problems that I actually encounter day to day, or problems that I used to encounter or whatever. I actually think that's also very, very critical. You look at a lot of founders and entrepreneurs who just Google biggest like issues with so and so, or they jump on the latest fad, or they jump on the latest bandwagon or gravy train or whatever. I think that if you're building something, build something that you're passionate about, you have to first understand the problem and you have to understand why it is a problem. It's just so much more effective if that's a problem that has affected you, is affecting you right now, or has affected you before, or something along those lines. If you yourself are going through this problem, I think it's so much easier to conceptualize a solution to that because you understand, if that makes sense.
Correct. Okay, so next one was Lock and Stock. What was that about?
Lock and Stock. Look, is actually our first real startup. It's super funny actually, because I got the idea when I was in college myself. I was an econ major and I was in an econ class. Econ classes are usually very dry. I love economics as a subject, but it can be a little dry every once in a while. And there were about 30 or 40 students in the classroom, and I was on my phone, just not really paying much attention. I was on my phone, and when you're on WhatsApp, and you're like talking to people, it says online on WhatsApp. So I think my dad was coming to like say goodnight or something. Time difference was probably like 9 p.m. here in Dubai. I was in the US. So I think he was coming to like say goodnight or something like that. And I think he saw the online like tag. So he messages me and he says, why are you online right now? Like, shouldn't you be in class? And I was like, yeah, I'm in class, but it's kind of boring. So I'm on my phone. It's okay. I know all this anyway. It's fine. And then he kind of goes off and he's like, you're wasting your time. What are you doing? You're wasting my money. What are you doing? Like any dad should, I think. And so we kind of went back and forth for a little bit. And then I put my phone away. And I remember after I put my phone away, I just looked around the classroom, and I don't know why. I was like, haha, that was a funny conversation with my dad. Let me see how many other people are on their phones. And I looked around the classroom, and there were like 30 or 40 students in the class. And I kid you not, almost every single one of them was on their phone or on their tablet or on their laptop or whatever. No one is looking up. Everyone is just like this or whatever, and no one's looking up. And this poor professor is just talking and talking and talking, and no one is paying attention, and nothing is really happening in this classroom. And I was like, damn, like, is this actually a real issue? So I went home that day and I did a whole bunch of research. I was fixated on this. I was like, wow, what have I just seen? Like, that's kind of interesting. Keep in mind, this is 2017. So there's, no one has heard about smartphone addiction or digital detox or any of that stuff. It's 2017. When I go home, I'm doing all this research and looking at like, okay, fine, like trying to understand what I just seen. And I stumbled upon this research report from a team at the University of Wisconsin, where they actually stipulated from their research that 24%, approximately 24% of all classroom time is spent on a digital device for non-educational purposes. And that stat just blew me away because 24%, that's a quarter of all classroom time. Imagine the loss, imagine the direct loss in terms of tuition fee wastage for an individual student. Imagine the indirect loss from um, just lack of learning for the individual student.
Also, the
Imagine the
effort of
loss.
professors.
Yeah. Imagine the loss to the university from wasted effort, wasted time, wasted resources. Imagine the loss to society. 25% of all time in every classroom and every student is being spent on a digital device for non-educational purposes. It was like, wow, that's crazy. So we wanted to solve this problem in essence. I was like, okay, like this is an actual problem. So I called up a couple of my friends and I was like, you know what, like this is what I want to do. You guys want to work with me on this? They said yes, and then we got the ball rolling. Now, the objective was to try to get people to stay off their phones. If you just create an application that tells someone stay off your phone, don't use your phone, no one's going to use it. There are a million applications like that. They don't do anything. No one. And so we were kind of scratching our heads and we were like, how do we do this? At that point in time, we were all college students and we were all broke as well. I think somebody said, you know what? Like if someone gave me 50% off at Papa John's, if I lock my phone, maybe I do it. And we were just like, wow, that's an incredible idea. And that's what we ran with. Lock and stock, super simple. Go to class. We basically geofenced colleges and schools. So you could only lock your phone when you were actually in class. If you were outside of class or off campus or whatever, you could not lock your phone. It also prevented just random people from also using the application. You had to be a student, you had to be on campus. But lock and stock, super simple. Go to class, lock your phone, pay attention, take notes, do whatever. And as long as your phone is locked, you're earning rewards. And when you're done with class, open up your phone, see how many rewards you've received, and then use your rewards to get offers and discounts at our partners. Super simple, super effective. We launched this platform September 24th, 2017, with 0 students and 13 brands. By 2019, so 2 years later, it was the largest student lifestyle platform in the UAE. It had 80,000 students in the UAE on the platform. It had 1,200 partner brands in the UAE on the platform, including some of the biggest names in the UAE. Every single cinema chain, Zomato, Careem, Amazon, Talabat, Forever 21, Starbucks, Costa, all our partners.
Wow.
1,200 partner brands, 80,000 students. 80,000 students, keep in mind, like between the ages of 16 and 25, there are only 250,000 students between the ages of 16 and 25 in the UAE. 1 in 3 students in the UAE was on Lock and Stock. It was huge. At one point in time, if you walked into any school or any college anywhere in Dubai, every single student was on Lock and Stock, or their friend was on Lock and Stock, or they used to be on Lock and Stock, and it was ubiquitous. To this day, even though Lock and Stock is not around anymore, to this day, if I wear my Lock and Stock shirt and go on the metro, people will walk up to me and say, "Oh my God, Lock and Stock! Wow, I used to use that app when I was in college. Did you used to work there?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, I used to work in sales. I was an intern there or something like that." But to this day, people will still walk up to us and say, "Wow, like Lock and Stock, we love that app. Like it was amazing." And that's what we built.
This whole story sounds like a sequel to The Social Network, if you know about the movie. But it sounded so similar to that, and wow, it's astonishing. Amazing, great work. Wow. So, but how did you get on board so many brands?
We just picked up the phone and called them. I think just perseverance. I think I remember for us to get Vox Cinemas, which is the largest cinema chain here in the UAE, I remember I called the marketing manager at Vox Cinemas every Monday for 6 months. Every Monday, I'd give her a call. Hi, can we meet? Hi, can we speak? Hi, can I have 5 minutes of your time? Maybe she doesn't even answer the phone. No problem. Every Monday for 6 months, I called her. Similarly with other brands, I remember I called for Costa Coffee. I remember I called the marketing manager at Costa Coffee every 2 days for like 3 weeks until they finally agreed to meet with us. And then we'd sit down. We'd basically push as hard as we can. Because, I mean, here's a bunch of 21-year-olds calling you, trying to like get you to be on their app. No one has heard of us. No one is taking us seriously. So all we could do was just try and just keep trying, keep trying, keep trying. In the first 3 months, we got 13 partners. Like this was before launch. July, August, September, we got 13 partners. In the next 4 months after that, we got another 40 partners. Okay, fine. The 4 months after that, we got 150 partners. The 4 months after that, we got 300 partners. And it began to like snowball as more and more people came on board, as bigger partners and bigger chains or more well-established brands came on board. Other guys were like, huh, that's kind of interesting. Okay. And eventually reached a point where, okay, fine. Like if your competition is on the app, and you also have to be on the app. And that's kind of how it just snowballed in essence.
Awesome. Okay, now let's come to secure my scholarship. So when did this idea birth in your mind that maybe this can be done, and how did you do it?
Yeah, so with Secure My Scholarship, it's actually a very funny story. Very interesting story, I guess. Sometimes the best things happen by accident, I think. With the Lock and Stock, we were doing amazing stuff, right? So lock your home, get rewards, get access to offers and discounts. That was going really, really well. And then we said, okay, fine. What are other benefits that we can bring to students? So can we make it lock your phone? Can we make it lock your phone, get rewards and get access to internships? So we tried that. Can we make it lock your phone, get rewards, and get access to giveaways? So we tried that. Then we said, can we lock your phone? Can we make it lock your phone, get rewards, and get access to scholarships? So we tried that. Offers and discounts was amazing, but it's very localized, right, with offers and discounts. Because if someone in India was to download Lock and Stock, they would delete the application because there are no offers or discounts available for them. All the offers and discounts were here in Dubai or in the UAE. So the platform was very, very localized. Jobs and internships, that did okay, actually, like didn't do very well. But scholarships, one day we launched it, didn't really know what to make of it. One day we're looking through our data and we're seeing students from India or Sri Lanka or Saudi Arabia or I don't know, Vietnam, locking their phones, collecting rewards, and applying for these scholarships on the application. There's no offers available. There's no discounts available. There's no internships, but they're locking their phones and applying for these scholarships. And we were just like, wow, that's very interesting because education is global, right? You could be sitting in India but want a scholarship to a university in the UK, or you could be sitting in Sri Lanka and want a scholarship to a university in Dubai. Education is global. And we said to ourselves, have we stumbled upon something much larger than we had originally thought? Helping people stay off their phones and pay attention in class is amazing. I'm very, very proud of the work that we did with Lock and Stock. 2 million cumulative years of time spent offline. That's 2 million years of time that we gave back to students. We enhanced the learning process. We put that time back in the hands of teachers, professors, educators. We're very, very proud of that. And that stuff is awesome. But, was there a bigger problem that had revealed itself? Can we actually help make education accessible and affordable to people who otherwise could not have afforded to go and study at great universities around the world? Could we actually give them that chance? Could we actually help people minimize their tuition and go and study where they want to study? That's so much larger. If we can do that, even with 1 or 2 or 5 or 10 people, we will fundamentally change their life. I'll give you an example, Ayushi. Sometime back, there was a girl, I think she was based in Patna, I believe, in India, and she was applying for an MBA in the US. And she came to our platform, she applied through our platform, and she raised a support ticket, and she said 4 words. She said, "Can you help me?" That's it, literally. She was at a university that had an MBA program that cost $60,000, and I think she was taking a 60 lakh loan to afford that, like an education loan to afford that. And she was like, this is a lot for me. Like, can you help? We ran her through the process and whatever. We looked around and we helped optimize her profile, etc., etc., etc. When she began, she was going to take a 60 lakh loan to go to America. When she finished, she received a $30,000 or $28,000 scholarship to go and study, and her 60 lakh loan became 30 lakhs overnight. Now that's life-changing for her. That's huge. Just like her, there was another girl last week, actually, a couple of days back, who got a 100,000 dirham scholarship to study here in Dubai. That's 20 lakhs, that's $30,000 to study here in Dubai. That's amazing. I remember around the time that we launched our scholarship section, there was a girl who applied to our platform. Her father had passed away. Her mother was ill and required medical treatment. Her brother was the sole breadwinner in the house. She had a younger sister who was still in school, and she had to go to university. Now, for a girl in that circumstance, she applied through our platform, and she said, "Can you guys help me? If you guys can't help me, I can't go to university." She said, "Can you guys help me?" And I remember we moved heaven and earth to get her what she needed. I personally spoke to somebody at a couple of universities, and eventually we got her a 100% scholarship on her first year, and then a 50% scholarship on her next 3 years to go and study. Now that's amazing. I love that. We love that. As a team, we are incredibly proud of all of that. These are 3 or 4 stories. We have helped students connect with over $9 million in scholarships to date. And we are very, very proud of that. Our mission is to help connect students with $100 million in scholarships and change the lives of 100,000 people around the world. Fundamentally change their lives. The people who apply to our platform oftentimes are not your top 1% or top 5%. For them, they don't need
because
help.
they don't need it.
They don't need help. The people who apply to our platform are people from middle-class families, hardworking families. Both parents work, or in many cases, there are students who come from broken homes or single-parent households. Those are a lot of students that apply through our platform. But yeah, in most cases, they just come from normal families, for whom $100,000 or $50,000 or $60,000 is not lying under the mattress, and they need help. They're smart, they're ambitious, they're aspirational, and they want a better life for themselves and their families. That's what we do. We don't charge students anything. It's absolutely free. We've helped connect students with $9 million in scholarships. We haven't charged students anything. And a lot of people ask us, are you guys a charity? Are you guys a non-profit? No, we're not. We're a for-profit company.
Okay.
We generate
multiple questions here. Firstly, how many students have received a scholarship through your platform?
Over 1,500 students have received scholarships and been able to go and study at universities through our platform.
Awesome. Congratulations on that first. Now, everyone who is watching this podcast right now, they want to know what is the exact process, the step-by-step process that you follow to get them that scholarship. And again, like what you are going to, that how do you make it profitable for you?
Awesome. I think to answer your questions one by one, from a process standpoint. So we are not an agent or a study abroad agency or a counselor or any of that stuff. There's a lot of options available out there for people who want that. We are not that. Our platform works best if students know which university and which course they want to study. And then they come to our platform, they find that university, they apply to the university through our platform. It goes to our team. Our team looks at all the information. We'll speak with the student as well, just to get a better understanding of them. And then we'll proceed with the process. The scholarships available on Secure My Scholarship are only available to students who apply while Secure My Scholarship. This is in our agreements with the universities. Every university listed on Secure My Scholarship has a minimum guaranteed scholarship. Now, that might be $1,000 or $5,000 or $3,000 or $10,000. It just depends on the university, but it's a minimum guaranteed scholarship, and every university has this. In percentage terms, that could be 5% or 10% or 15% of your course as of your tuition fee waived as a scholarship, guaranteed when you apply through us. On top of that, our team works with these universities every single day. We know which universities are offering scholarships. We know which universities aren't offering scholarships, which universities are more lenient, which universities can be a little bit more flexible. And so this is where we step into the process and we kind of help guide students. We'll tell a student, listen, okay, this is your budget. And we'll apply to this university, which is your university of choice. We'll try to get you as much of a scholarship as possible. But what about like this option and this option? If you want like higher scholarships, we can play that role as well. But in essence, helping the student apply to the best possible universities and minimize their tuition as much as possible. A lot of students come to us just for their one university. They say, this is the only university I want to go to. How much can you reduce my fees? And then we get to work. We apply, we speak to the university, we optimize their application. We kind of basically make sure every T is crossed, every I is dotted, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we do our best to help the student maximize their scholarship. Are we 100% effective? No, right? That is the dice that we roll. We try to get every student a $30,000 scholarship. Most students, on average, when they apply through our platform, will receive scholarships between 4 lakh to 10 lakh rupees or thereabouts. That's about $5,000 to $10,000 thereabouts in terms of scholarship. Most students will receive scholarships in that range. And if they want to proceed, they can proceed. If they want to go somewhere else to another university, that's also fine. At the end of the day, our mission is to make education accessible and affordable for everyone, to give everyone that chance. Whether they want to proceed, don't proceed, etc., that's okay. So many students tell us, all right, this scholarship is all right, but I'd actually rather go with so-and-so other university, which is not available on Secure My Scholarship. And that's okay. At the end of the day, the student is still going to their dream university. And, we wish them all the best. That's awesome. Wow. We merely exist to give people a chance.
How many, sorry to interrupt, but how many universities are listed on your platform?
We have 444 universities available on Secure My Scholarship. So over 440, basically. I think the number is 443 or 444, thereabouts. This includes almost every university here in the UAE. We are a Dubai born and bred startup. So Dubai is our home market. We work with almost every university here in the UAE. We work with almost every university in the UK. That's, I think, like 99% market penetration in the UK. We work with almost every university in Ireland. 99% penetration in Ireland, including all of the top 8 universities in Ireland. And we work with 240 universities all over the US, coast to coast, everywhere in the US. Just these 4 countries for now: Dubai, the UK, Ireland, and the US. We will add more and more destinations as we go along. But as of right now, just these 4 destinations, 440 plus universities, 70,000 plus courses. And that's what we have. How do we make money, I think, is the next question.
Yes.
It's very, very simple. Universities are brands or institutions, just like any other brand or institution. They want more awareness and exposure. So universities actually pay us to list on our platform. Universities pay us to list on our platform, and they're there when students secure a scholarship and then enroll at the university. If they accept the scholarship and then proceed on to the university pays us a performance-based fee. And it's really that simple. For the student, there's no, they can choose whichever university they want. We have no bias or obligation or anything. The student can choose whichever university they want. And if a student is happy with their scholarship and wants to then proceed with the university, the university pays us a performance-based fee. Even if the student doesn't, the university pays us to list on our platform, and that's kind of how we generate revenue. With the universities, I mean, we help connect universities with students from, middle class or lesser privileged backgrounds. And universities actually want students like that. They want students who are hardworking, ambitious, aspirational. It helps give them a more diverse campus, a more diverse student body, better quality of student applicant. They actually want that. And so, yeah, so it's a win-win for all parties.
Wow, that is pretty awesome. So, but
Yeah.
to get it to this point, you must have needed a lot of investment. So how did you raise money, or bootstrapped, or how did you do it? Because to set up things this big, a lot of investment along with the efforts is needed.
So yes and no. So when we launched Lock and Stock in 2017, we raised a small friends and family round. It's a very small round, whatever. And then from there, we just kind of bootstrapped our way towards building Lock and Stock into what it was built into. Then that shifted over into Secure My Scholarship. We pivoted the company into Secure My Scholarship. SMS became a thing. And then we only raised capital in 2021. So 5 years after 2017, 18, 19, 20, 5 years after launching the original Lock and Stock, after the pivot, everything, when we were actually in the middle of rebuilding or pivoting from Lock and Stock to Secure My Scholarship, we raised capital then. Even then, it was a very small raise. Since then, to scale our operations, we have raised capital. We are investing very heavily into India, which we see as a huge opportunity. I think, every year in India, for the platform that we are building, connecting students with scholarships and connecting students with opportunities to, go out there and live a better life. I think India is tremendous in that regard. I think there are a lot of people in India who desire upward mobility and want to progress in life, but are held back by financial constraints. And if we can break those shackles and give people that opportunity, I mean, that's awesome. All of us are also Indian as well, just like by nationality. And so India is very close to our hearts. If we can play a role in helping 10,000 or 50,000 or 1 million Indians secure scholarships, go study and realize their potential, if we can play a role in helping young India just realize its dreams, that's awesome. We want to do that. We want to play our part in that. So we're investing very, very heavily in India. We have people based in Mumbai, Pune, Surat, Ahmedabad, Amritsar, Delhi, Hyderabad, Bangalore, Kochi, all over India, really getting this engine rolling. Our engineering team and our tech team, scaling that, more engineers, more developers, etc., etc., etc. So to do all of this, we had to raise more capital. Since 2021, we've raised 2 more rounds. We've raised $1.2 million in capital to date. Currently, the company is valued at $6 million, and we're poised to raise a full Series A next year and really just explode in terms of our operational capabilities. There's a lot that we can do with, $5 million or $6 million to invest for growth. But I also want to add that a large part of our model or our thesis was building the right way. That was a very, very important part of our thesis. Since the beginning. And I think also just from where we come from, we never wanted to build your typical or your LinkedIn startup, which is burning cash, needs to raise capital, needs to survive, can only survive if they raise capital. If they don't raise capital, they lay off half their team. That's bullshit. Like, we never wanted to do that. We wanted to find a way to build a company that can grow in the triple digits, 200%, 150%, 100% year over year, but also balance the books and stay EBITDA positive, cash flow positive, all of that stuff, and just be fundamentally financially stable. And so that's a choice that we made. Even if we grow a little bit slower, but we build something that's sustainable and that actually has strong foundations. I mean, at the end of the day, we're in this for the long run. So that's always been a priority for us, just actually being able to build something with strong foundations. It's not about $9 million scholarships connected, or 10 million or 15 million. How do we build a company that can last the test of time? How can we change the lives of 100,000, not 1,000, not 2,000, 100,000 people, or 1 million people? How can we connect students with $100 million in scholarships? How can we build a company that lasts for 10, 15, 20 years and actually changes the lives of many, many people, not just some? So that's just a choice that we made in terms of building out the company, per se.
So entrepreneurs who are in this similar stage of maybe scaling up their business, and they're looking for the exact same things that you just stated and trying to cover all the fragments, what hacks or tips would you give from your side, from your 7 years of amazing experience?
Advice? At the end of the day, startup, small business, SME, salon, chai shop, everything is the same. They're all businesses. Revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, cash flow is reality. So I think the most important thing that any entrepreneur needs to know, or at least have a knowledge of, is accounting. Even if you don't want to build an income statement or a balance sheet or whatever. And frankly speaking, like, those things, even I look at like once a quarter or every like mid-years or every 6 months or something, the income statement or the balance sheet. But I look at the cash flows, the cash flow projection once a week or twice a month, literally. Because at the end of the day, cash is reality. Startups, the number one reason why startups die is, it's not because competition was so great, or it's not because the team like fell apart or whatever. Those are reasons, yes, but the number one reason why startups die is very, very simple. They run out of cash. That's it. Right. They run out of cash. So for any entrepreneur, the first rule, and something that's oftentimes forgotten, because you're very busy, hiring people or thinking of your marketing campaign or whatever, but sometimes, and in many times often forgotten, is that your cash flow is your most important thing. For any entrepreneur, if I had to give them one piece of advice, I'd tell them, master your cash flow, look at that often. You can have other people that prep it for you, but at the end of the day, you have to be able to read it, understand it, analyze it, control it. And that's super, super critical. Yeah.
Perfect. So Secure My Scholarship is 100% free for the students.
100% free. So actually, small caveat over there. If a student wants to apply to a Dubai or universities in Dubai, scholarships in Dubai, it's absolutely free. If a student wants to apply for scholarships in the US or the UK or Ireland, we charge a small nominal one-time fee. It's basically free, but it's like, it's $50, so 4,000 rupees, but after discount, it's like 1,000 rupees, which if four friends come together and order Domino's pizza, the bill will be more than 1,000 rupees. The only reason why we do this, and we didn't have it before, we actually only introduced it about 6 months ago. And the only reason why we do this is because when we said scholarships in the US, scholarships in the UK, everybody wants to go to the US. And so we get tens of thousands of students applying, looking for 100% scholarships. Sadly, as much as I wish we could, we cannot make education free, so we cannot give people 100% scholarships. So we just so many people applying, looking for 100% scholarships. And so what we did was we added a small price barrier, 1,000 rupees after discount. It's nothing, right? Because on average, people will get 4 to 9 lakhs in terms of scholarships and can go as high as 20, 25, 30 lakhs. So what is 1,000 rupees? And it's really just to make sure students are serious about the process. We don't actually make any money off a student paying us 1,000 rupees. It doesn't cover our operational expenses or anything. It just makes sure that students are serious about the process, and allows us to do the best possible job with serious students, at least.
So there's another thing going on that people are really, many people see it like a shiny object that I want to study abroad, even though maybe they're not serious or a lot of factors work. But they also are getting scammed because people take advantage of their aspiration. So how do we save ourselves from that? Is there any way that we can differentiate a genuine platform or a scam?
Yeah, 100%. I think the most effective way is to just do your research. For a lot of people, convenience trumps everything else, and then they regret that later. So, there's a company with an office like in the next building, I'll just go speak to them, forget anything else. Or, there's this platform and they're giving away free stuff, let's just go to them. I think at the end of the day, like do your research, look the company up online. Has the company been featured in credible and prominent media publications or PR publications? That usually is a mark of credibility. Did the company have a Google review page? How many reviews does it have? What's the review? These things are super, super, super important. Look at a bunch of these things, if anything. Look at the company's socials, look at the reviews, look at media, PR, all of that stuff. Because at the end of the day, it's a very important decision in your life or the life of your child, depending on whether you're going yourself or you're applying for your child. It's a very important decision, and you don't want to make the wrong choice. And then 8 months down the line, maybe you've lost 5 lakh rupees. Yeah. So many people, right, have been scammed. They've paid money and then they haven't gotten any services, or the people ran away or whatever. Maybe you've lost 5 lakh rupees. Or maybe your child will not get their visa, because student visa, because the application process wasn't done properly. Or maybe your child goes to the UK or Australia and finds that their accommodation wasn't done properly, and now your child is sleeping on the street or has to book a hotel or something like that. It's a very important decision that in the short term will definitely shape the next 1, 2, 3, 4 years of your life. In the long term will set you up for life. I think take your time. For anybody out there, just take your time, do your research, and then find the best possible solution.
Perfect. Great advices. So now that you have done so much in so many ways for so many people, what were the obstacles and how did you conquer them or deal with them or overcame them?
What were the obstacles? In our journey so far, ton of obstacles, I think. We launched Lock and Stock when we were 21, or I was 21. Other people on the team were 20 or 22 or whatever. We were all very young. None of us had done anything like this before. None of us come from, business or business families or families that have a lot of entrepreneurs or whatever. No, we all come from middle class or lower middle class backgrounds, families of salaried employees, yada yada, whatever. So none of us had really done anything like this before. We're all super young. So how do we actually do it? right? How do we get that to happen? How do we get people to trust us? Companies to sign up with us, other companies to work with us. How do we put all these pieces together? How do we actually make it happen, literally? I remember I would walk in for meetings and people would say, okay, because I was 21, no facial hair as well, clean shaven. So I walk in for a meeting and people would say, oh, are you the intern? When's your boss getting here? And I'm like, I'm the boss. What do you mean?
Oh.
So yeah, I mean, but those are obstacles that we had to get past. And those are some of our biggest hurdles. Monetization, revenue generation. Ideas are great and building like products are awesome. But at the end of the day, how do you make money, right? At the end of the day, whether it's a startup or whether it's a salon or a small business or a garage, it's a business that needs to make money. And I remember in 2018, we were like 3 months away from bankruptcy, 3 months away from running out of cash, no money whatsoever. And we literally had to monetize then and there. No one was willing to write us a check or anything like that. And in those 3 months, I remember myself and everybody else, we all worked, I think 100 or 110 hours every week, just pushing with everything that we had to find something or to build a revenue model and have it generate enough revenue in time for us to save the company. Super, super important for us. And I mean, 6 years later, here we are. So we did it, right? We ran a campaign, or we ran a bunch of campaigns then. We generated about 100,000 dirhams in revenue, so 20 lakhs in revenue, which was enough. It gave the company a lifeline. And from there, we built, right? From there, we understood where our revenue will come from, how we can build, yada, yada. These were lock and stock early days. And that's something we had to figure out. That's, I guess, number two. Number three, obstacles. All of these things, I think, all stem from one key aspect. Mike Tyson once very famously said, everybody's got a plan until you're punched in the face. And running a company is like that. Yeah, we had a plan for how we were going to generate revenue. That plan didn't work. So what are we going to do then? How do we adapt? Lock and stock is not scaling as it is because it's localized from an offers and discount perspective. So what do? Do we pivot into secure my scholarship? Do we hold? What do we do? We're not signing partners as often as we should. People don't believe us when we tell them we built this platform. So what do? Everybody's got a plan until you're punched in the face. It's what you do after that that really matters. Yeah.
Wow, beautiful. Ooh, that was deep. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So another problem that most entrepreneurs face is dealing and managing their teams. Firstly, gathering a good team is in itself a task, and even I face that very often. So
for sure.
Yeah. So how do you know that, yes, what the team I'm building is right for this task, and how do you manage them to stay long term, and maybe even if you have to change employees and a lot of things. So how do you manage all this stuff?
Yeah, I mean, building a team is perhaps the most important thing that I have to do. It's a very big part of my job on a day-to-day basis. Putting a team together, structuring this, making sure that we have the best people within the company possible for us to keep moving forward. These are incredibly important things. And great companies are built by great people. I think to always remember that. There's the cliches, hire slow, fire fast, this, that, whatever. But I often find that when you just take your time and, you don't even hire slow, you can hire fast as well. But if you know exactly what you're looking for, more often than not, you will be able to bring on board the best people possible. When we hire and when we recruit, we look for character more than skills or education. Yes, we look at your education, and yes, it is better. Like if you have, if you've been to like great universities or great, like great universities or great colleges or whatever. We look at your work experience. Okay, fine, it's cool if you've worked at big companies or done big projects, but there have been so many cases within the company where we have hired people with no experience or with very little experience, or we've hired them for character, because at the end of the day, skills can be taught. It will take a little longer, but skills can be taught. But heart is forever, right? A person's character, a person's heart, what they are made of, that's with them. You can't change that. So when we screen people, we know exactly what we're looking for, and we screen for that more than anything else. And oftentimes, if a person tells you about themselves or who they are and where they come from and their background and what they've done in their life and their obstacles in their life and all of that stuff, you can get a pretty fair understanding of who they are as a person. Building startups are hard and things change very rapidly. If you ask anybody who works at Secure My Scholarship, they will tell you that like every day, every week, every month, there's constant chaos, there's constant change. As Winston Churchill once said, to change is to improve, to change often is to perfect. And we are always changing. So there's always chaos, there's always things happening. And for people, the question is, when we are interviewing anyone, the question that we ask ourselves is, if the going gets tough, will this person sink or swim? And that's it, literally. Everything else can be taught. Everything else is fairly simple. There was once a time that I didn't know anything. It's okay. People can learn things. That's fine. But when the going gets tough, will this person sink or swim? Is the question that we ask. And that's how we do all of our hiring.
Brilliant. That was an extreme bulb on. Amazing. So another important part of our lives are our families. So how much do you think the support of our families matter in everything, whether you're aiming for a scholarship, starting a business as an entrepreneur, again, like when you're stuck in between, even if not financially, emotional support is definitely needed. So how much of a support did you get from your family or friends?
Yeah, a lot. Lock and Stock, neither Lock and Stock nor Secure My Scholarship would be here if not for my family. We launched Lock and Stock with a small friends and family round that really was just an initial seed investment from my dad, whatever savings he had. He didn't even have much in terms of savings. But he was like, you know what, I believe in you and I believe in the product, and let's go out there and let's do this. I've oftentimes said that, with whatever we accomplish, I have no idea what we will do, but with whatever we accomplish, when they write the story of Lock and Stock and Secure My Scholarship, in this story, you could perhaps replace almost everybody in this story, myself included. Maybe you could find another Craig Fernandes, no problem. I'm sure you could find another Craig Fernandes, maybe. You could replace anybody in the story, but the only person that you probably could not replace is my dad. Because when nobody else believed, he believed. And that's why we are here. They say, blessed are those who believe yet cannot see. And even though, couldn't see anything, there wasn't anything real, I was 20, we were 20, all of that stuff. He believed, and we got the ball rolling, and here we are today. So 100%. Without him, we would not exist. Without my mom as well. So many times when the going has gotten tough, my mom has stepped in. She's helped out, yada yada. Just like a role to like smooth over some cracks here, smooth over some cracks there. So even herself, like, very, very, very pivotal. Both my mom and my dad have been extremely important in especially in the early years, very, very, very important in helping us build what we had to build. And we would not be here if not for them. Um, Aside from that, I mean, yeah, just friends and other family and whatnot. Very important as well. Just people who put up with me talking 24/7 about what we were doing at work with the startup, who I'm sure in their heads were like, "Oh, let's talk about something else." But put through with everything that I like. I only wanted to talk about Lock and Stock, or I only wanted to talk about Secure My Scholarship. And they put through with that, and they were willing to listen, and I owe them
Yeah.
a lot for that.
Relatable.
Yeah, the name Lock and Stock also came from one of my friends. It was going to be called Last Points, which is a horrible name. And my friend was like, "Man, that's a shit name. Name it something else." And then we were kind of brainstorming, and my friend was like, "What about Lock and Stock?" And that's how we got the name, basically. So yeah,
Awesome.
many points in the
One thing
journey
I
of my
beg to
friends and
differ,
family.
after this
Mhm.
conversation, I don't think Craig Fernandes is replaceable, okay? Give yourself some credit. So you have done an
Yeah.
amazing work. Yeah.
Amen. Amen. But I think just to conclude on that, like I think at many points throughout the journey, my friends and family have been extremely important, and I don't think we'd be here if not for them. Yeah.
Okay. We will circle back again to the relationship part, but you were featured on Forbes 30 under 30 in 2023. So how did that happen? How did it feel? And honestly, we also are curious about what is the criteria. How does it happen? How, like, Forbes approach you, they stalk you. How does it happen? Because most of us don't have any idea about that.
Yeah. So uh somebody actually reached out from Forbes early last year and said, "Hey, like we've been following your profile for a while. We think you should apply. We think you have a great shot at this." And so I said, "Yeah, okay, sounds good." And so I applied. This was early last year, like March or April, so early 2023. And I applied. And then there was like a second round. I think there were a bunch of follow-up questions, and then there was an interview, and then another bunch of follow-up questions. It's a rigorous process. Earlier in the year, so April or May, March, April, May, sometime around then, like earlier in the year. And then after that, like I don't really know what happened. It like 5 months or 6 months go by, and I've actually forgotten about it. It's something that I forgot about. And then one day I was working. I was in a meeting actually, and my girlfriend comes running into the room and she says, "Oh my God, oh my God." And I was like, I'm in a meeting, like shh, I'm in a meeting. And then I kind of like shoot her away. Just after the meeting was over, I went outside, and then she was like, "Oh, like they released the list and you were included in the Forbes 30 under 30 list." And I was like, "Wow, like that's awesome." Like I was very, very happy. But truth be told, in the 6 months prior to that, I'd really just forgotten about it. Honestly, I didn't think I was selected. There was no information or anything from them. And yeah, she found out about it before me. Then she comes and tells me. And so it was great, I think.
Wow.
Being named like Forbes 30 under 30, phenomenal achievement, I think. Very proud of that achievement. I actually don't care for it so much personally, but I know for the team and for Secure My Scholarship, it was great validation for the work that we're doing and great recognition. I mean, tremendous from a credibility standpoint. Forbes recognizing us. Because I mean, let's be honest, right? So I didn't win this award for myself or because of myself. I won this award because of the work that we're doing with Secure My Scholarship. So instead of saying Craig Fernandes, it should say Team Secure My Scholarship. It's all of our award.
Wow.
And yeah, it was a phenomenal achievement, I think, for the team. Great credibility and recognition.
Now I'm getting the mindset, the character trait, and all of that. It connects because you're very detached with the achievement part, but you're very attached with the work. So that shows. Amazing.
Yeah.
Another
yeah,
take.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've never really like I don't really care that much about just personal accolades or personal achievements or whatever. I I'm driven by two things. I want to create impact. I want to help change the lives of people in general, with whatever that may be. That's number one. And number two, and I say this to the team at every town hall or wherever. We win together, we lose together, and I want to win, yes, but I want everybody else to win as well. We all win together or we all lose together. There's no scenario where one person wins but the other person loses or whatnot. Either we all win or we all lose. It's a team sport, literally.
Okay. So now circling back to your girlfriend, is there something that you want to share that you have not shared yet?
Yeah. So her name is Vanessa, and Vanessa and I actually got engaged in February. We've been dating for about a year and a half prior to that, and we got engaged in February, and we're tying the knot in November. So big life change, big life moment, life milestone, I think, coming up. Super excited, a little nervous, and yeah.
Okay. So firstly, congratulations for that. And follow-up question, what is it that one should look for in a partner, or rather how we should be as a person to be the right partner to a future partner? It's like combination of two, and this is a common question on this podcast. I've asked this almost every guest.
Yeah. I think like the most important thing that I think people, and you see this a lot actually, where people don't want to spend time with their significant others, or it's like, oh, she's always calling me for plans, or oh, she always wants me to hang out with her, or they away from their significant other and hang out with their like boys or whatever. And I never quite understood that. I think the most important thing when you look the most important thing that manifests in a partner, I think, is at the end of the day, your partner is just that, your partner in life. And Vanessa is my best friend. And I love spending time with her, and I love being around her, working next to her, or sitting next to her, or chilling with her, or watching a movie with her. And Vanessa is my best friend. And so that's the most important thing, I think, because if you and your partner are going to spend the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years together, you have to love being around each other. And if you don't love being around each other, then how are you going to do that? And so that's, I think, the most important thing, if anything. And I think it's what makes Vanessa and myself like special in our relationship, at least. And I value that about our relationship.
Amazing. That was a new take, and it was actually bang on. Like, oh yeah, like it's the basic, but it's the most important thing. So perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I think like if you're planning on getting, for anybody, I think if they're planning on getting married, if you're not getting married to your best friend, then I think twice about it, if anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
That scared me a little. Okay.
It's the truth. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. But so again, coming back to the entrepreneurial personality that you have, because now it's like a set. Now we know you kind of as a person, as an entrepreneur. So what are the personality traits that maybe you have developed over the years, or ones that are inherited, or maybe these are the compulsions that if you want to be an entrepreneur, you need to have just the basic ones?
Yeah, I think personality trait. I think, as I said earlier, like the thing that separates successful entrepreneurs from unsuccessful entrepreneurs is just sheer hard work. I think anybody who's worked with me will tell you that I'm always working. I'm a workaholic. I love what I do, which is why I work all the time. But I'm a workaholic, and I think I don't know everything. There are a lot of things that I don't know that I have to go and find out. But I'm always working. I think that's just like I I think anybody who's ever worked with me or anybody who knows me will tell you that it's very important. Like that it's very rare to see Craig Fernandes give up on anything. I think if I believe in something, I'll do whatever I can to make it happen. Um, but aside from that, I think another important trait just in general is for people to sometimes realize that they don't know everything. There are other people who may know more than you on the team or elsewhere. There's a lot of people, especially with a traditional business mindset, who think, oh, I'm the boss, so I know everything, and whatever I say is the final, is the truth, basically. And that's just not the case. There are experts on the team. When we look to build a team, I look to hire people who are better than me at those individual things. So they tell me, Craig, we have to do this. Craig, we have to do that. And I trust them because they know more than me. Or at least they should be knowing more than me. And so I think that's just a very important thing to just to get over, like just get over yourself, literally. And yeah, I think those are the two biggest like traits that I have,
Yeah.
at least, that people who've worked with me, people who know me will tell you about myself.
Perfect. Okay, so we are almost at the end of our amazing podcast. But before we start with a quick rapid fire round, is there any crazy anecdote that you want to share with us? Anything, that happened? And I'm sure you have many of those stories, but because of the lack of time, you can share maybe one or two.
Yeah, I think not really a specific crazy anecdote. Well, actually, yeah. Uh, I remember in 2022, so 2 years ago, we had some cash flow issues. A couple of universities hadn't paid us in some time, and yada yada, and our expenses had gone up, and we were having some cash flow issues, and we had to raise capital ASAP. Literally, had to raise capital ASAP, and we had the capital locked in. We raised around whatever, and then the last minute, the round disappears. The lead investor in that round backs out. The round breaks down, and now we're back to square one. We have to raise capital. We put a round together, and the round falls apart at the last minute. Of what the hell are we gonna do? And I remember we reached a point where we were 2 days away from running out of cash, like 2 days away from just no cash. We wouldn't be able to make salaries or whatever. And that is something that we have never done. We have never paid salaries late. We've never not been able to pay our bills or anything like that. We were 2 days away from that outcome when we finally worked something out and we were able to raise an emergency stream of cash, keep the lights on, and keep rolling. And that, I think, is one of the craziest, if not the craziest moments from the last couple of years. Just 2 months away from running out of cash. And I think if there's something to take away from that, it's just embrace the chaos. We've been 2 days away from bankruptcy. We've been 1 month away from bankruptcy. We've been 3 months away from bankruptcy at multiple points in the last 7 years. We've always found a way to survive and just swim, don't sink, swim. And yeah, but that probably is one of the craziest anecdotes that we have from the last couple of years. 2 days away from bankruptcy, literally. I remember just having this perpetual headache in those last like 10 days or 12 days, not knowing what to do and just having this like never ending migraine. And even on the senior team, for those people who knew what was happening, it was just like, okay, fine, what are we doing? What's the scene with this? What's the scene with that? What are we doing? And it was crazy, honestly.
So, just listening to this, when everything is falling apart and like you're given your best, but nothing is working. So, at those times, what is that one thing that keeps you going?
Willpower. I believe in what we're doing. I believe in the mission that we're on. I believe in the impact that we're creating, and faith is a very powerful force. And you just have to believe. You have to have faith in what you're doing. You have to have faith that it will work out, and you have to not stop. Literally. A great example of that. I love sports. A great example of that is Surya Kumar Yadav. I mean, this is a guy who plays for India. I think he made his debut for India when he was 30 years old. I mean, most people give up 10 years before that. So you just have to have faith that it will work out. Just keep doing it, literally, and it will work out. Now, I'm not saying like there's a lot of people that say, trust in God and God will make everything okay. I'm not saying that at all. At the end of the day, it's down to you, the individual, to make it happen. But you have to believe in yourself and believe in what you are doing. And that's what at least, that's what works for me. And thankfully, it has worked out, and hopefully it will continue to work out in the future as well.
Amen. It will. Okay.
Yeah.
So now we can start the rapid fire quickly. So you have to be very precise, very swift, because it is called Keep It Swift. So, and now we're going to know a little bit more about you as a person and your habits and stuff. So nothing scary. So it's going to be interesting. Okay. Shall we begin?
Sounds good. If I win the rapid fire, do I get a hamper at the end of it?
No, you will get my blessings.
Yo, blessings. Okay, that's awesome. I'll take that. No problem. Let's go.
Okay. So 3 habits that changed your life.
Intense focus, no social media, and taking risks.
Okay. First and last thing you do in the day.
The first thing I do in the day is I check my email when I wake up in the morning. The last thing I do in the day is I check my email when I go to bed at night.
That one was expected. Your biggest accomplishment so far, according to you?
Building the team that we have built, more than any capital raised or any awards that we've received or whatever. Great companies are built by great people, and building the team that we've built is the biggest achievement, I think, that we've had so far.
Okay. Weirdest experience of your life?
I once ate grilled chameleon in Vietnam. It was very interesting. I thought it was chicken. The menu was fully Vietnamese, so I didn't really know. I was ordering from pictures, and later I found out it was chameleon. It tasted like chicken as well, so I don't know. But when he told me it was chameleon, it was interesting. Yeah, grilled chameleon.
Okay.
It was like green and stuff. Yeah, it was interesting.
3 personalities that impact you the most, or someone you look up to.
Steve Jobs, Michael Jordan, and Steve Jobs, Michael Jordan, and wait, Jeff Bezos.
Okay, perfect. The turning point of your life.
Going to the US to study, I think.
Okay. Had you met yourself 5 years ago, what would you have advised yourself?
Just believe in yourself. Believe in yourself, believe in your guts. Take advice from anyone, but at the end of the day, it's your call. Believe in yourself.
What is your biggest fear?
Failure. The fear of failing drives me more than anything else. I actually don't care to win. Doesn't really interest me. Winning is not what excites me. It's the fear of failing, the fear of losing that drives me more than anything else.
Wow. There's a dialogue in a movie called Divergent. The fear doesn't shut you down, it wakes you up. So that's what I got reminded of. Perfect. So books or podcasts that you would suggest to people if you listen to any, provided the time.
I don't listen to too many podcasts. I do read a lot. There's a bookshelf over there and another bookshelf over there. So there's 2 bookshelves in my room with like 400 something books, I think. I read a lot. Good to Great by Jim Collins is a great book. The Everything Store about Amazon is a great book. I'm trying to look at my bookshelf really quick. Shoe Dog by Phil Knight, autobiography. I read a lot of nonfiction and a lot of biographies or autobiographies. But Shoe Dog by Phil Knight, Good to Great by Jim Collins, The Everything Store, which is the story of Amazon, are perhaps the best books. Like read those books, if anything.
Okay. What is the idea of love? What is your
Um,
definition of
um, I think love is having someone that you can rely on no matter what.
love? Perfect. Okay. The best piece of advice you have ever received.
Um, Best piece of advice I've ever received. So I read a lot and I watch a lot of interviews and whatever. So the best advice I've ever gotten is from watching videos of other people at like press conferences or reading books. But the best advice that I've ever received was um perhaps uh wait. Yes. Jeff Bezos once said, "My biggest fear in life is regret." No, sorry, my goal in life is regret minimization. He said,
Hmm.
"I want to minimize my regrets in life," and he said, "I don't want to wake up when I'm 50 and think to myself, oh, I should have done this, or I wish I'd done that, or I should have done this, or I could have done that." And he said that's his biggest goal in life. And that perhaps, I mean, he didn't tell me this directly, obviously, but that's the biggest advice that's the best advice that I've ever gotten. I still hold that near and dear. It guides a lot of what I do. Um, my biggest goal in life is regret minimization. I don't want regrets. Believe in yourself, trust yourself. You want to do something, do it. If it works, that's awesome. If it doesn't work, still great, because at the end of the day, you don't regret it because you did it anyway. So
Perfect.
no problem.
Awesome. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
My three favorite cities in the world are Dubai, UAE, which is where I was born and where I grew up. Mumbai, India, which is where I've spent 3 months every year, 3 months every year from every single year of my life. So maybe a third of my life in Mumbai. I love Mumbai. It's my favorite city in the world, along with Dubai. And along with Dubai and Mumbai, New York City. I haven't spent as much time in New York as I've wanted. I've only spent about 2.5 weeks in New York, but I love those 2.5 weeks. So if I had to pick any place in the world, it would be one of these three cities: New York City, Mumbai, or Dubai. As you can see, I'm a very big city guy. I love big cities. I love traffic. I love people. I love trains. I love cars. I love the pollution. That's who I am. I think I would die of boredom if I lived on an island or somewhere on the beach or something. I think I'd die of boredom. I love big cities. I love the chaos that it brings. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So that was actually my next question, the top three destinations. But if you could change one thing about the world, what would it be?
Oh, if I could change one thing about the world, um, I don't know. Food for all. I think there are like 1.9 million people, I think, according to UNICEF, that suffer from food insecurity. There's 1.1 billion people that don't have access to clean drinking water. There's 1 billion people that are in conflict or conflict adjacent zones. Education is extremely expensive. A number of things, I think. The world has a lot of problems.
Awesome. Now, the last but not the least, advice for Gen Zs and the Alpha generation of today.
Um, I think two pieces of advice. Number one, and something that I've said time and time again over the course of this podcast, is just believe in yourself. I think that's number one. Actually, on that note, there is um Bob Dylan is one of the greatest musicians of all time. I love Bob Dylan. My dad used to listen to Bob Dylan a lot when I was younger, and then I just grew a liking for Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan is one of the greatest musicians and perhaps one of the best lyricists of all time. And in 1973, Bob Dylan sang, or he wrote, "Oh, mothers and fathers throughout the land, don't criticize that you can't understand. Your sons and your daughters are beyond your command. Your old paths are rapidly aging. So lift up your fingers and put up your hands, for the times they are changing. Brilliant line, I think, that was written for the 60s generation or 70s generation, but still holds true today. I think, you know, just because your parents say don't do it, or your uncles or your aunts or whoever say don't do it, doesn't mean you should not. The times they are changing. Believe in yourself and, follow your own path. And that's number one. And number two, and I'm also a strong believer in this, what we do with Secure My Scholarship and with Lock and Stock is social entrepreneurship, social impact entrepreneurship. We try to solve real problems. We're not selling cars or, selling clothes. We are actually, trying to help people pay attention. That's what we're doing with Lock and Stock, help them learn better, or helping people afford university with Secure My Scholarship. So, these are real problems, literally. That's social impact entrepreneurship. I think that if people in general, or more people, build startups around real world problems that they care about, whatever that problem may be, as long as they care about it, whatever that problem may be, I don't think anybody will tell you that they need more clothes. I don't think anybody will tell you that they need to get stuff in 5 minutes. Like these are not real problems. I think water security is a real problem. I think medicine access is a real problem. I think people not being able to go to the hospital is a real problem. If more and more people build products or services or platforms around real problems, I think the world will be a much better place, I think. So my advice to Gen Zs and Gen Alphas, I think, is to go out there and solve real problems. Not non-profits or charities. Build billion-dollar companies solving real problems and make the world a better place.
Wow. So we usually end with the tagline of the show, which is "What's in your heart?" But I think you beautifully just summarized it. So
yeah. I think like the answer to the last question answered this as well.
Yes, what's in your heart is truly commendable. So thank you so much, Craig, for this tremendous podcast. I personally learned so much. I got inspired so many times on so many instances. The examples you gave, the insights, everything was so bang on, so interesting, and so valuable. So thank you so much for doing this. It was a privilege talking to you, knowing you as a person. How was your experience?
My experience was amazing. I think it was a really fun conversation, a really fun chat. Loved the rapid fire round. I hope I will receive your blessings. I hope I won the rapid fire round and will receive your blessings. Love the rapid fire round. It was a lot of fun.
No, I am very lucky for a lot of people.
And I'm also just very grateful to you, Ayushi, for having me on the podcast. It's a privilege for me to be here. Thank you so much for having me. And I hope to be back soon.
Oh, I would be waiting. Would love it. This was like enlightening. It was amazing. And the mindset, the character strength that you show, the aura that you command, it all is amazing. I loved it. It was amazing. It was actually one of a kind. We haven't had a guest like you as of now. So yes, for sure. Looking forward to have you again. And thank you so much for giving so much of time from your busy schedule. It really means a lot. And thank you so much for each and every thing you said.
Thanks a lot, Ayushi. And thank you to everybody else who tuned in and listen as well. And if anybody needs to reach me, just find me on LinkedIn. I'm not on any other social media platform, but find me on LinkedIn. Craig Fernandes on LinkedIn, Secure My Scholarship. And drop me a DM. I'd love to chat, love to talk. If anybody wants to reach out.
Yes, definitely. We will link up all the links related to Secure My Scholarship and your LinkedIn profile and everything that is relatable to you, through which people can approach you and connect with you. So check out the description for sure. Do not forget to do that, because this man can change lives.
Or we try, at least.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Convo with Aysh till the end. I really appreciate your attention and support. If you haven't seen the previous episodes of this podcast, please go to the playlist and watch them. If you want to get connected with the amazing guest of today, please go to the description and check out the links of their profiles. Of course, do not forget to subscribe to the channel, Like this video and share it with your friends, relatives, or any person that you think would find this valuable or useful. Put down your learnings, queries, or feedbacks in the comments. And I will see you soon in the coming episodes of Convo with Aysh and with amazing and brilliant content on personal development, public speaking, communication skills, and hope no healing. Until next time, this is Ambivert Aysh signing off. Love, love. See you soon.